Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Child Abuse Awareness with Darlene J. Clark. This is a very important story. Rideshare, Alto, beware. Uber, any rideshare, you got to be very aware of. Leery, an easy way for predators and sexual deviants. So, first, I'll go ahead and do the normal presentation stuff, that things that I do at the beginning. It is so good to see you, Jackie, Tammy Crimes, Stephen, and Danielle. Thank y'all for coming as well. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is the use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. Before I start with the initial, I'm first going to start with one of my friend's stories. Hey, get to know, good to see you. With one of my friends, and get to know, I would hope that you would end up having this on your story too. It needs out there, really big. My friend, um, she was shot when she was 8 years old. She was with her mother when her mother was shot as well and killed. The guy tried to reload. I need to add it, don't I? Hold on. Let me get to my YouTube here on my phone. That's the only way I could do it. So let me see. Try to get in here to my YouTube. Sorry. I don't see yeah, Jackie's got hers still too. Okay. Let me turn this down, sorry. Yeah, Jackie's got hers still too. Okay. Let me turn this down, sorry. Yeah, Jackie's got hers still too. Heather Tammy, good to see you as well. Okay, but my friend, I call her Diamond, is going through a tough time. She was shot and she's got these injuries, PTSD, high blood pressure, and of course the bullet still remains lodged in her. Okay, so she's going to have these injuries. And the bad thing is, see over here, look at the right. In January 2024, they paid Alto to take her to a doctor's visit. Well, she was gone, but they stopped and get something to eat, which is a dead giveaway about something that we're going to be going over. She accidentally dropped her purse. It spilled out all over in the vehicle. Well, she thought she picked everything up, in which she did. She left two things behind. So her son called her and said, "Hey, Mom, you left two of your cards in the rideshare's Alto's vehicle." She said, "I'm fixing to, get something to drink and take some medicine, and then I'm going to go outside." Next thing you know, put in mind she's in a gated community, okay? So he had prior, he could get in there priorly, but anyway, he was in her home. He had grabbed her waist and she did not know somebody was in her home. He had put his hands around her waist. And she dropped her glass of water and it shattered in the floor, or a glass of beverage. So she kept trying to inch away and tell him, and the front door was open. And she said, "My son's fixing to be over here." And she tried to get closer and closer. He touched her in inappropriate places. This is rideshare, Alto. And if I'm not mistaken, I will say it is in Texas. The police said that she needed to deal with the company. They didn't want to get involved. The police did not want to get involved against the perpetrator that was sexually abusing her, sexually assaulting. Lawyers don't want to get involved because they said if it's up to the police, right? And she's done contacted over 40 lawyers. Every one of them's turned her down. Now, the most recent one was December 22nd, 2024. It was a rideshare who Humana Insurance had paid for her ride to the dentist's office and back home. To her dismay, when she got into the vehicle, he told her to get in the front seat, and she knew that was odd. She really didn't want to, but she had to do as the driver said. And he goes, I want to stop at Taco Bell and I want to get me something to eat. You can have whatever you want. No, please take me home. But in mind, she had feelings. She was tired. She needed to get home. She had no intention on going anywhere else. She needed to go home and rest. That's what he's supposed to do, drive her home. So then after he gets his Taco Bell, he says, well, I'm going to stop at my house for a minute. I'm going to get my chargers. Please take me home. I want to go home. And that's what Humana had paid supposedly to do. He proceeds, and then all of a sudden he starts yelling at her. He has 4 different phones. And all of a sudden he's talking to somebody on another device and then saying something about someone be there in a red vehicle. And that could have been code because when he got over there to his house, he opened up the garage door, closed the garage door, told her to get out of the vehicle. She said, I'm not getting out. I need to go home. He drug her out of the vehicle, people. He pulled her and pulled her to the house and slung her to the couch, okay? He even said, gave her a drink and said, drink this. She said, I don't want nothing to drink. Of course, she didn't feel like drinking. She'd been at the dentist, right? When you got feeling and stuff like that, it's still going to be a while. So y'all please give my friend Diamond hearts. So she took a couple sips. He forced her to take a couple sips. Right after the couple sips, she started getting dizzy. She had tried to call her son, and I'm not sure which time it was that she did tell her son that she was kidnapped, and her son didn't believe her and had told her, that to run out when she could. But that guy ended up smacking her phone across the room. He let her go to the bathroom, and she said, he said, you can use whichever bathroom you want. I got one in the master bedroom, and I got one in for normal, bathroom. So she went to the normal bathroom, and she noticed there were no pictures hanging up in the house. There's no towels, no toothbrushes, no, and the toilet paper and the paper towels were just on the counter right there. So her doctor said it looked like a setup house. Okay. So she ended up coming out of the bathroom and going back, and he spent like about 20 more minutes, 20, 25 more minutes down in the living room. And it was a sectional sofa that she was forced to sit on. He decided, he said, are you 42K friendly or whatever, 40 friendly? She goes, what is that? And he told her. And so he proceeded to go upstairs to another room to try to go get some of his things. So she looked at that as an opportunity to try to escape. So she made sure he was out of view, and so she ran to the door and opened it. She was getting ready to flee. He grabbed her and said, where do you think you're going? You're not going nowhere. And he flung her back to the couch. He said, I told you to drink that drink. You need to get over there and get comfortable. He said, take off your shoes. She said, I'm not taking off my shoes. I want to go home. My son's expecting me. She kept telling him repeatedly, my son's expecting me. This ordeal went on for over 7 hours. Okay. He actually laid on top of her, started feeling his hands, down her shirt, um, at her buttocks region, and her privates. And luckily, she didn't get raped. Praise God. And he's like, I told you to get relaxed. He had went ahead and had pulled her shoes off, which are boots. And in layman's terms, these pedophiles and predators and stuff, when they tell you they want you to get relaxed, they want you to get as naked as possible for them. Okay, that's a dead giveaway. So I want to show something up here too. That's taken it for someone that's been there. Okay, entire screen. Sorry. So this is what rideshare driver kidnapping by a rideshare driver involves a rideshare passenger being unlawfully taken or held against their will by a driver, potentially with the intent to cause harm or extract a ransom. This can include a driver using a vehicle as a means to transport the passenger to a new location without their consent. My friend had called law enforcement when she got back home. The way she got back home, okay, I didn't go over that yet. She lied to the police, to the guys. Thank God. Okay. She said, I've got location. Turn on my phone. My son is expecting me home, so he sees where I'm at. If you don't get me home when he's expecting me, then the cops are going to show up over here where you are. That's what saved her. I truly believe it. And so he went to take her home, but when he dropped her off, he dropped her down the road from where she lived. So she had to walk the rest of the way home. So the son ended up contacting the police. The police came. The stupid police officer, and I will say it's stupid. I mean, whoa, what does he do? He sends the perpetrator a text message. He gives the perpetrator her son's full name. So now the son's got to be careful about whatever because this police officer divulged his name to this possible human trafficker. I told my friend, I said, did you not know that a lot of people that gonna SA you or murder you or traffic you, that's what they do. They'll go get you a meal. If it's for the means of they want you to trust them when they go to do that, or if they're gonna sexually exploit you or pimp you out, then they're gonna say, you owe me. You think you're just gonna get that meal for free? You owe me. You gotta pay me back. You gotta work it off. You ain't going nowhere, like he was telling her. You ain't going nowhere. So anyway, let's go over here to some of these other things that's going on. It's not just with them. And if anybody knows of any lawyers that would take something besides, they're not taking there's just Uber and Lyft that they take the cases, but no attorney. There's been over 40 that won't. She's even called the FBI today, and they said keep up with your local law enforcement. Local law enforcement ain't doing diddly squat though. Okay. So she's been violated by these two different men with rideshare, right? And they are not doing a dang thing about it. Okay? There's a major problem. What if it's your kid? What if it's your wife? What if it's your mother that this was done to? And they do nothing, nothing at all. She is lucky that she got home in one piece. He had gave her a false name, which she ended up giving, trying to, when she called Humana Insurance, they were the ones that paid. And they said, well, his name is really this, right? So he had given a false name. What's that? They give away. This is an illegal alien that's using and exploiting the system with insurance. And Humana, when you're not right there and you're serving, protecting, and making sure that these people are getting safe to their locations, you're just as much responsible of the trafficking. You're just as much responsible as the violation about the sexual crime that happened to her, the kidnapping. You're not doing a dang thing about it to protect her or protect the other victims. You're just as much responsible. I'm sorry, I'm getting mad here, so everybody. We need to stand up for this lady. She needs our help big time, okay? So we go over here, and there's rideshare shared sexual assault statistics overview, right? Over the last 10 years, we've seen the rise of the rideshare market, with Uber and Lyft being the top two largest ride-sharing companies in the U.S. Ride-sharing made the concept of hailing a cab easier, faster, and more affordable for people around the world, including in more rural areas where cabs and other forms of transportation are more limited. Ultimately, the ride-sharing industry relies on strangers feeling comfortable enough to get in another stranger's car and a stranger feeling comfortable enough to pick up strangers and drive them around. There are many inherent risks in that equation, from a history of bad driving to violent criminal past and everything in between. When it comes to being a rideshare user or passenger, being another person's vehicle can make passengers somewhat of a captive because they are stuck in a moving vehicle with someone. Although these companies tout themselves as an easy, reliable, and safe form of transit, thousands of incidents of harm, from sexual assault to murder, have happened over the years in rideshares. When stories about violence or sexual assault against a driver or passenger are made public, it makes passengers uneasy and forces ridesharing apps to invest further in trust and safety. It's unfortunate that it takes harm happening to get these companies to do something, which is why it's important to provide individuals with statistics and data about ride sharing safety so they can make informed decisions. But what do you do when you don't have no other transportation but ride sharing through your insurance company to get you to and from the doctor? This is what's going on with my friend here, okay? Each company proclaims strict hiring guidelines for all its drivers, who are legally designated as independent contractors, including background checks and DMV driving checks. The apps themselves have features that allow passengers or drivers to contact emergency services discreetly if they feel in danger. But you don't have an app with that ride share because it was through Humana Insurance. However, thousands of incidents of harm are still happening, and it's essential to shed light on the facts about Uber, Lyft, and sexual violence. After a 2018 CNN report disclosed dozens of sexual violence crimes perpetrated by Uber drivers, the company began an exhaustive investigation and compiled their first U.S. safety report, released in 2019. Uber has released three U.S. safety reports: the first for 2017 to 2018, the second for 2019 and 2020, and the most recent for 2021 and 2022, which showed thousands of severe safety incidents happening every year. The reports categorized the offenses and noted that the sexual assaults, non consensual sexual contact, fell into one of the five categories: kissing a non sexual body part, kissing a sexual body part, touching a sexual body part, attempted sexual penetration, and sexual penetration. These are complete strangers, okay? Uber's latest U.S. safety report revealed, according to the latest, here it is right here, in total, the company reported 2,717 individual reports of sexual assault. That's in 2021, with the overwhelming majority of victims being riders. The non-consensual kissing of a non-sexual body part, 338. Attempted non-consensual sexual penetration, 258. And put in mind, these are just the reported ones. There's so many that goes not reported because look how the victims are being treated. But they don't matter. Look at my friend right here. That FBI agent just hung up on her phone with her. And this guy needs deported. Non-consensual touching of a sexual body part, 1,401. Non-consensual kissing of a sexual body part, 338. Non-consensual sexual penetration, 335. They had a safety report on here. It said in total, across 5 categories, total report sexual violence in an Uber in the United States for the years of 2019 and 2020. But we're not going to go on down to that because we know that the numbers keep growing daily, okay? That's 217 that's gone first. Then here's Lyft assault stories, okay? So let's get on down here to this, okay? In 2019, Lyft had 156 non-consensual sexual penetration. See, in 2017, at 1993, 2018, 111, 2019, 156. But see, the bad thing is, it's underreported, and it's still going on. Attempted non-consensual sexual penetration, attempted, and there's 114 from there. Non-consensual kissing of a sexual body part, there's 203. Non-consensual touching of a sexual body part, 1,041 reports. Non-consensual kissing of a non-sexual body part, 293. It's right here. It's like helping survivors, and this is an organization here. Okay, so this is like understanding rideshare lawsuits, real incidents, and legal recourse for drivers and passengers. Rideshare services like Uber and Lyft, like we had said, we don't need to continue reading that. Have revolutionized transportation. It's convenient, yeah. When you're drinking and driving, you're drinking, you don't want to drive, so they call you Uber or Lyft, and then what's it doing? They're really thinking about the safe way of getting home. They're thinking making the best choice. I'm not going to get behind the wheel and drive, which that's really good. I'm proud of that. But the bad thing is, look what's happening with these others, right? So number one, the driver's side incidents, harassment, assaults, and more. Number one, physical assault on a Lyft driver in California. Amy Collins, a former Lyft driver. Okay, she got assaulted. Okay, she's a Lyft driver. She was experienced a traumatic assault by a passenger she was transporting. The event not only affected her emotionally, but also resulted in her inability to continue driving. Following the incidents, Collins filed a lawsuit against Lyft, claiming the company did not provide adequate support or safety measures for its drivers. Her case, combined with others, led to a broader legal movement demanding improved safety standards and accountability from rideshare companies. Okay, you want more standards and more accountability from rideshare companies, but you lawyers are only doing Lyft and Uber. Y'all's not going in here to the other ones that's not listed here. You're going to the top two. But what about Alto? What about these other ones that's still doing that? It's a rideshare. So why are you not protecting these women from these perpetrators? Why? I'm lucky, my friend's lucky that she did not lose her life. She's still in danger. That perpetrator knows where she lives. She had moved from that was a gated community, but this other guy, and that other guy who had broken into her house was texting her every day, said he's going to finish what he started and that kind of stuff. Note that continued on for her too. And still, the police did nothing. Okay? The police did nothing. The police did nothing this time either, but did text the perpetrator and gave the perpetrator the son's information Case of whiplash and broken bones. Uber driver in Texas. That's a car accident. That's a little different than what we're going over. Okay, this is passenger side incidents, assaults, and accidents. Sexual assault of a female passenger in Phoenix, Catherine Rosta. A passenger using Lyft in Phoenix faced a horrific experience when a driver assaulted her during a ride. She had to move homes and change her phone number out of fear of being targeted again. Catherine filed a lawsuit against Lyft seeking compensation and urging the company to enhance its safety features, including dash cams and stricter driver vetting processes. Traumatic brain injury and settlement. In one case, a passenger suffered a traumatic brain injury when a Lyft driver collided with another vehicle due to distracted driving. After lengthy negotiations, the passengers secured a settlement of $2 million, covering medical bills and compensating for the lifelong impact of the injury. Okay, harassment and physical assault by drivers. Another incident involved a male passenger who was harassed and physically assaulted by his Uber driver in New York City. The passenger suffered minor injuries and emotional distress. Although Uber initially dismissed the claim, the passenger sought legal counsel and managed to obtain a settlement of $500,000, bringing attention to the company's inadequate response to safety complaints. Okay, so my friend ought to be able to get a lot of money when these people. What's compensation? She wants it out there. There's too many people that's going missing and everything. And like, okay, what's the last place you seen them? Oh, school. Do you know how many parents trust rideshare companies to take their children home from school? Do you know how many that is? It's pretty big. How many missing kids are there that nobody's seen from school, right? Since after school, a lot of this is sickening. Rideshare companies like Uber and Lyft have faced a multitude of lawsuits over safety issues. In many instances, plaintiffs have won significant settlements. For example, a class action lawsuit involving sexual assault cases, plaintiffs received a combined settlement exceeding $20 million, compelling Lyft to overhaul its safety features. Meanwhile, another case involving multiple assaults resulted in Uber agreeing to $10 million. It said that HAL, we understand the emotional and financial toll these incidents can have on victims. The bad thing is, if my friend was to contact this, she done got so many no's from lawyers. It's not Lyft or Uber. So a lot of these places will not help my friend, which is a sad situation. So I want to go over here to, right quick. Look at here, there are criminal actors, and this is from the FBI. Okay, let's see. Trying to get my phone over here. It's not doing right. Sorry. If I get anybody coming. Okay. So the FBI warns the public and rideshare companies of criminal actors leveraging rideshare vehicles to abduct minor victims. So it's not just adults. So while these incidents are rare, the FBI has provided notification due to the high impact of such events. And I got it from this thing. It says contact the FBI, and she contacted the FBI, and they said, uh, take it up, keep in contact with your local law enforcement. And he hung up on her. He didn't want to hear the fact that she would have said, well, they're not staying in contact. They're not doing nothing about it. It's up to the feds to come on and do something about it because these are perpetrators of possibly trafficking our people. This ain't just about kidnapping and rape or attempted rape or things like that. It's possibly sex trafficking. Like I said, she was over there over 7 hours. Further, during the COVID-19 pandemic, it appeared these actors believe rideshare services afforded more privacy from potential witnesses than traditional modes of transportation, with mask and social distancing requires enhancing secrecy. So since the onset of COVID-19 pandemic, law enforcement received several reports of rideshare services being used to facilitate child abduction. Exactly what I just got through saying, basically, right? Look at there, see? And yet the feds are not wanting to get him this. And she was probably going to be forced into not child trafficking, but sex trafficking and pornography, not pornography, sorry, but prostitution. Other modes of transportation, such as public buses, were used during the pandemic. The privacy of rideshare services allowed criminal actors to obfuscate potential witnesses' identification and afforded them direct transportation. Further, while using rideshare vehicles, threat actors were less likely to be apprehended when compared to other modes of transportation or facilities. Mm. Criminal actors benefited from past mask requirements and social distances in rideshare vehicles, and they choose to continue wearing masks as it provides additional identity concealment. Like I said, he told his name was something. I think it was, I don't know if he said his name is Hector or his name is Hector. But he gave her a false name, and the insurance company gave her the regular name. She's supposed to be getting the police report for us to be able to share because this needs to even make it to the local news to fight for her. Representative examples: the FBI identified instances of criminal actors leveraging rideshare vehicles to abduct minor victims. Listen, here's some of the stories, okay? In April 2022, a 16-year-old boy requested a rideshare trip from Portland, Texas to Rockport, Texas. During his ride, the rideshare driver allegedly offered him a drink, and the boy later woke up inside of a home in Sinton, Texas, approximately 20 miles in the opposite direction of Rockport. The boy walked to a nearby home and called for help. Law enforcement later arrested the rideshare driver. In February 2021, an adult male in Colorado allegedly met a minor victim on social media and groomed her to send child sexual exploitation material. The male flew to California and allegedly persuaded the minor to sneak out of her residence at 2 a.m. to enter a rideshare vehicle. The rideshare vehicle transported them to the airport where they boarded a plane to Washington, D.C. During their travel, the adult male allegedly forced the victim to pretend to be mute and wear a wig to avoid detection. The victim was recovered and police apprehended her abductor at the airport during their layover. The adult male was charged with child abduction, soliciting child sexual abuse material from a minor, and meeting the minor for sex. In February 2022, in Mexico City, a father was traveling in a rideshare vehicle with his 7-year-old son when he asked the driver to stop at a flower stand. When the father exited the vehicle to make a purchase, the rideshare driver allegedly drove off with the boy. The boy found a way to call his mother and provided his location. The parents recovered the boy safely, chased, and eventually stopped the rideshare driver from escaping when he was arrested. So it says victim reporting. That's where we got the information to contact your local law enforcement agency or your local FBI field office. Okay? Contact information can be found at www.fbi.gov. Maybe we all need to contact them and get a heads up. Say, man, do something about this. This is not good. This lady was exploited. This lady was victimized. So basically, you could say that Humana picked her out. If they're going to pay for it, the guy to come pick her up and kidnap her, if they do nothing about it, yeah, I would say that they're responsible for it. Victims are encouraged to keep all original documentation. Remember that. Keep all the documentation, emails, keep all the text messages and logs of communication with the subject. Do not delete anything before law enforcement is able to review it. And even if the law enforcement don't want to listen to it, like this is a case, they're not doing their job. They're not doing their duty to serve and protect. They're failing they're failing the people. Tell law enforcement everything about the online encounters. It may be embarrassing for the parent or child, but it's necessary to find the offender. Be as descriptive as possible in the complaint form by providing name and or user name of the subject, email addresses and telephone numbers used by the subject, websites used by the subject, description of all interaction with the subject. It is helpful for law enforcement to have as much information as possible to use while investigating these incidents. However, it is not required in order to receive assistance. The FBI produces public service announcement to increase awareness of rideshare services used as a method by criminal actors and targeted minors for child abduction. Y'all got it out there, and it might not be a minor, but it's an adult, and y'all know about that too. So why aren't y'all not speaking up and helping these other victims? Why? It said inside ride sharing safety laws are a start, but tech changes are needed. It said ride sharing safety is a top priority for the public, and companies like Uber and Lyft. Internet and technology attorney and law professor Andrew Russo looks at state laws and liability issues and calls on ride sharing companies to use technology to improve safety. So let's get on down to efforts are underway in the states and in Congress to pass laws to address ride sharing safety problems. But ride sharing companies also face public pressure. It's also on them to address safety concerns. They also face liability issues involving negligence, personal injury, property damage, and wrongful death, and harassment and sexual assault. Excuse me. So, state laws in South Carolina, New Jersey, North Carolina. Unfortunately, in the case of 21-year-old University of South Carolina student Samantha Josephson, that's exactly what happened. Her disappearance, kidnapping, and gruesome murder. See, that's your 21-year-old. That wasn't no kid. Has led a number of states to pass laws aimed at protecting riders who use rideshare companies such as Uber and Lyft. And they do all rideshare companies. You need to protect them all, all of the people, especially if our insurance company is the one that does that. Or it don't matter, whatever rideshare, they got a responsibility of picking the person up at the location, taking them home safely without any kind of assault or anything going on. New Jersey followed suit with a similar law dubbed Sammy's Law, named after Josephson. The law takes effect in March 2020 and mandates that rideshare drivers visibly display illuminated signs and digital barcodes in the windshield. The penalty is a $250 fine. Wow. In August, North Carolina's Governor Roy Cooper signed the Passenger Protection Act and a law to protect passengers. Similar to New Jersey's law, the PPA also requires rideshare drivers to visibly display illuminated signage in their windshields, but also requires their license plate number on the front of their vehicle. The PPA makes it a felony to impersonate a rideshare driver. In addition, Representative Chris Smith has been simultaneously working on passing an equivalent of Sammy's Law at the federal level, recently introducing Sammy's Law in the House. The bill was recently referred to the House Subcommittee on Highways and Transit. Under the bill, drivers would have to display the company's logo so it can be visibly read about 50 feet away during daylight hours, and the company's trademark emblem must be illuminated at night. Too little, too late? I would think so, wouldn't y'all? Honest tragedies like Mrs. Josephson are entirely preventable. I'm so glad it did not happen to Diamond. While these current laws are a step in the right direction, industry leaders aren't entirely convinced. With online marketplaces such as Amazon and eBay, some drivers believe the requirement to having a glowing signage can be abused by individuals who can simply order custom signs online and pose as a rideshare driver. That's true. Also, think of an employee leaving their place of employment. In almost all cases, they are required to return all company property, company issued computers, laptops, mobile phones, etc., back to the company for security purposes. But I think that guy that picked her up had his own company. For rideshare drivers who no longer drive or work for the company, there should be an enforceable requirement that they return their illuminated signage and company logos to the company. Unfortunately, many drivers out there no longer work for the company and still display the logos on their windshields. Having personally been a driver for both Uber and Lyft while in law school to make some extra cash, I can tell you had those company issued stickers on my car for a few years. I haven't driven in quite some time. The signage is no longer on my vehicle. So tech innovators provide potentially effective solutions. So let's go on down. I want to get more solutions on protecting. What are you going to do when somebody is done the way she is doing? What are you doing? Here's aggravated kidnapping. Intentionally taking away a person's liberty by hiding or holding a person. It is aggravated kidnapping to hide or hold a person for the following reasons: for ransom, as a hostage or shield, to commit a felony or to escape the felony crime scene, to hurt or sexually abuse a victim, which that's a federal crime, like it said, to strike fear into the victim or another person, or to interfere with any government or potential function. Using or showing a deadly weapon to intentionally taking away a person's liberty by hiding or holding a person. This is aggravated kidnapping, okay? It's a first degree felony. Why isn't the guy arrested, okay? Why? The range of punishment is 5 to 99 years or life in prison and up to $10,000 fine. Guess what? They're not wanting to do anything about it to help my friend Diamond. She was aggravated kidnapped and sexually exploited, sexually abused. She was drugged, held against her will. Some of that other terminology, okay? It even says right here, even they don't want to look at it as aggravated kidnapping. There's a crime of kidnapping is governed by Chapter 20 of the Texas Penal Code under Section 20.03. Kidnapping in Texas is defined as follows: intentionally taking away a person's liberty by hiding or holding the person where they are not likely to be found, or by using or threatening to use deadly force to hold the person. A relative, such as a parent, step parent, ancestor, sibling, or aunt or uncle, can hold another person if the relative's reason for holding the person is to control that person's behavior or actions in a way that is lawful, and the relative has no intent to use or to threaten to use deadly force in the process. Kidnapping in Texas is a third degree felony. The range of punishment is 2 to 10 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine. And we all see that with her case, that would be aggravated kidnapping. So it's right here: to hurt or sexually abuse a victim. There's also what is smuggling of persons. The crime of smuggling of persons is governed by Chapter 20. It's using a motor vehicle, aircraft, or watercraft to flee or hide oneself or to hide another person from law enforcement and law enforcement activities. Okay. I wish they would go ahead and help. Now let's go over here, see what this is. These are sexual assault. Like we said, we try to call different lawyer offices. See, this is Uber sexual assault lawsuit. So the people that's doing the Uber are sorry, we cannot help you. It's not Uber or Lyft. So we're not going to go ahead and take the case, right? It says that as Uber's sexual assault litigation continues to evolve, the landscape is constantly shifting. Discovery battles, bellwether case selection, and court rulings on Uber's marketing and safety policies are shaping the trajectory of these claims. A law firm strongly believes in these cases, and we expect Uber to come to its senses sooner rather than later, not to victims the settlement compensation they deserve before we ever have a trial. Our lawyers remain committed to providing the latest developments and insights, ensuring you stay informed of critical updates, legal strategies, and potential settlement outcomes. Here's where New California State Court lawsuit in 2025, May 26th. A California woman has sued Uber on Friday in the San Francisco Superior Court. Plaintiff alleges she was sexually harassed and assaulted by a Uber driver during a ride arranged through the Uber app on June 1st, 2023. She brings claims including general negligence, negligent hiring and supervision, common carrier negligence, and strict product liability, among others. Take those into account. I'm going to go ahead and put this in the copy. Go ahead and put this in there. Hey there, Gary. Good to see you. Post his comment in here as well. And I think I'm going to go ahead and put the Scarlet at the bottom of the screen as well. This is the lawsuit information center.com, Uber sex assault lawsuit HTML. See, there we go. It's a Uber sex assault. Why is it not going into general terms to try to help the other victims of rideshare, right? Uber keeps pushing nonsense forum clause, and I think that's what's getting a lot of this. You see this? Uber has filed a motion to transfer 13 of the 20 bellwether cases of the Northern District of California, invoking a forum selection clause embedded in terms of use. This would shift the trials to states like Texas, Illinois, Arizona, Pennsylvania, and Georgia. When it's happened in the Northern District of California, I think that's kind of crazy, right? It says lawsuits keep coming, then there's discovery ruling that just keeps going on and on. Why are they not still going ahead? And see, MDL, it still adds 200 more cases. See, FTC lawsuit tells us that the Federal Trade Commission has filed a lawsuit against Uber, accusing the company of making it intentionally difficult for users to cancel their $9.99 a month Uber One subscriptions. The FTC says the process is designed to frustrate users, requiring multiple screens and steps, and has even led to viral tutorials showing people how to cancel. There's a new plaintiff joins Uber sexual assault MDL, a woman from Kansas City, Missouri, right there. Said suing Uber after she was sexually assaulted by a Uber driver during a ride in Orange County, Florida, April 11th, 2023. Why isn't more insight to all rideshare? Do y'all agree with me? Okay, this is what I want to show you here, Diamond. Okay. So, what makes rideshare injury cases legally complicated? Rideshare services like Uber and Lyft have transformed how we travel, convenient on demand. So let's get over that, skip over that. Multiple parties may be involved. Okay, that's what the problem is. It's the insurance company that paid this rideshare. So why isn't the rideshare, the Humana Insurance, you don't see them going to do criminal prosecutions of rape, kidnapping against this person? So the police tells you to deal with it with the insurance company. Okay, this is a crime. Why aren't they doing anything about it? This is a crime. In a typical car accident, you usually deal with just two parties, the at fault driver and victim, but in the rideshare accident, there can be several people or entities involved. The rideshare driver, rideshare company like Uber or Lyft, or other drivers or third parties. Okay, let's see. Let's see. The driver's app status affects insurance coverage. Okay. Rideshare companies often try to avoid liability. Injury claims may be disputed or delayed. Compensation can vary widely. Rideshare accident victims may be entitled to a range of damages, including medical expenses, lost wages and reduced earning capacity, pain and suffering, property damage, emotional distress. However, the actual amount you receive can depend heavily on how your case is presented and which party or parties are found liable. That is why working with an attorney who understands the ins and outs of rideshare law can make a huge difference. Well, then do something about it, not just the Uber and the Lyft. Come on, somebody help my friend out here. Help these other people. How many other victims is out there and they cannot get justice? How many out there is being kids? It's if the police are just sweeping it under the rug and saying you get the insurance to handle it. It's not just an insurance matter. This is a matter with the criminal system. You know, it's so frustrating. I want to ask y'all police officers that's not protecting them a question. Who are you serving and protecting? Why are you serving and protecting this person that's possibly an illegal alien? I don't care if they're a legal alien or not. Why are you serving and protecting these? And why are you not trying to help the victims? You're supposed to be helping people. You're not supposed to be hurting more. You're hurting our society as a whole. Sorry, everybody, I keep getting mad. And here, right here, this is Governor Polis rejects. Oh yeah, y'all need to see this right here too. See right here? Look at this. Governor Polis rejects rideshare safety bill prompted by sexual assault of um, state lawmakers. This was May 23rd. I hope y'all never vote for him, Governor Polis. Never vote for him again. Governor Jared Polis on Friday vetoed a rideshare safety measure that was prompted by the alleged sexual assault of a state lawmaker during a Lyft ride. Say what? Let me say that. Read that again. Governor Jared Polis on Friday vetoed a rideshare safety measure that was prompted by the alleged sexual assault of a state lawmaker during the Lyft. Oh, because you got a state lawmaker, you don't want to go ahead and put a bill. You're protecting your buddy. Jared, you need to go down. Treason. You're not protecting the people. House Bill 1291 aimed to improve safety for rideshare passengers and drivers, including by adding background check requirements, banning drivers from offering passengers food and drink, and giving drivers more leeway to record rides. But it faced significant pushback from the rideshare giants, Uber and Lyft. So it's not okay for them to record. I think if it's their safety, it's important. I would say still record, getting in their vehicle, still record. The company said it would add costly and unworkable burdens and fail to make rideshare passengers and drivers safer and urged to veto. Uber threatened to stop operating in Colorado if the rideshare safety legislation became law. Really? I say goodbye, good riddance. Goodbye and good riddance if you don't want to protect the people. So, Uber, are you a part of the big sex trafficking ring, huh? It looks like you are part of it, Uber. It looks like very much that you're a part of it. Uber used its app to send messages to its hundreds of thousands of riders in Colorado, urging them to oppose the measure. Wow, 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 wow. The company's threat to leave the state appeared to play into Polis's decision. While I appreciate the sponsor's intent to ensure the safety of riders and drivers, House Bill 1291 would impose unworkable regulations on rideshare companies and potentially jeopardize the continued operation in Colorado. So what? So freaking what? What about jeopardizing the safety of the people that's taking the rides? It's making it unworkable for the people, unsafe for the people. Polis wrote in a letter explaining his veto. I want to make sure that Uber, Lyft, and others will be continue to operate in Colorado, but far more accountable for the safety of riders and drivers. How are they going to be more accountable when you're not even holding them accountable? Riddle me that, man. Okay. However, Polis wrote House Bill 1291 went too far in its unclear language on audio video recording and inoperable timelines to produce new regulatory rules. One of the governor's biggest concerns continued to be a requirement that rides be recorded if both the driver and passenger agree to it. Excuse me, and like in the state of Tennessee, as long as one person agrees to it, and that's you, you're the one that's done it. For protective services, I've been even in the hospital, right? And I started recording what the doctor says. The doctor gets on to me. I told him that, yeah, I'm not going to start recording. But guess what? He changes what he's going to say. Weird thing is, one day he was saying, well, you never had a stroke in your life, right? And I said, well, next time. So then when I talked to somebody on the phone, he had walked in. He said, I never said that. So, cares, I think I'm going to start recording it so I can show these people that he's actually saying this when he claims and says he's never said what I said, right? That's like, I want to record. I want to catch you and show people that you are saying this. One of the governor's biggest concerns continue to be a requirement that rides be recorded if both the driver and passenger agree to it. Drivers and riders are entitled to privacy, and while I appreciate the movement on this issue, the net effect of the remaining language in the bill still strongly suggests making recording mandatory, Polis wrote, which will put the law in direct conflict with other state privacy laws and make compliance a challenge. Moreover, the relevant data Is anybody still here? I'm sorry that it cut off on me. So let me go ahead and continue. I don't know when it had cut off. So we'll go ahead and it says, so we continue this. So this ride sharing, the most disturbing ride sharing assaults of 2023. Lyft driver arrested, accused of sexually assaulting minor in Aurora. A 38-year-old rideshare driver faces charges of sexual assault of a minor after being accused of sexually assaulting a 13-year-old rider in May. Jaepu Wu, 38, was working for Lyft when he allegedly picked up a 13-year-old girl as a passenger and sexually assaulted her in the early hours of May the 13th, according to a news release from the Aurora Police Department. The girl told police she was sexually assaulted soon after the ride, and Wu was arrested the next day, according to the release. Prior to the ride, the girl had been with friends at a park in Aurora, according to the arrest affidavit. She used another person's Lyft account to request a ride at about 1:45 a.m. Police used a Lyft receipt to find Wu. Lyft requires passengers to be 18 or older to sign up for an account and states that drivers may cancel trips if a passenger is under 18 years of age and may ask riders to confirm their age. Wu told police a passenger told him that she was 18. According to the affidavit, he also told police he pulled the vehicle over and then had sexual contact he believed was consensual with her, according to the affidavit. Wu has been charged in Arapahoe County District Court with a Class 4 felony, which is punishable by up to 6 years in prison. He had been released on a $50,000 bond. Wu's attorney, Ryan Robertson, with Robinson and Henry, noted the seriousness of the allegations and that his client had fully cooperated with the investigation. Our client remains innocent until proven guilty, Robertson said. These are obviously extraordinary, serious, extraordinarily inflamed charges. Certainly, anytime there's any sort of allegation of a crime against a minor, that causes people, I think, generally to rush to judgment. Our client fully cooperated with the investigation here, and we look forward to our client having his day in court. He messed with 13-year-olds. See? A spokesperson for Lyft called the allegations reprehensible and said the company permanently banned Wu from the platform. Thank you, thank you, thank you. They said the company has been in contact with law enforcement to help with the investigation. Aurora police believe there may be others who have unwanted sexual contact from Wu and ask possible victims to contact Metro Denver Crime Stoppers at 720-913-7867. Wu's attorney said he had not been provided with any information to substantiate that concern. So let me go ahead and go Wu. Look at Wu again. There he is right here. He was a Lyft driver. Okay, so now bond raised for former Uber driver accused of sexually assaulting customers. Bond has been raised for former Uber driver accused of sexually assaulting his customers. Cesar Martel was charged with attempted sexual assault in December 2023. The following month, two more sexual assault charges were added after prosecutors said DNA linked to him to other cases. The 29-year-old suspect faced a judge last Friday for two additional felony charges. That's when his bond was raised to a total of $600,000 for all three of his sexual assault charges. Initial attack in June 2021, a woman told police She had just left the nightclub, and a man picked her up while she was walking along Highway 59. The man soon stopped the car, locked the doors, and then climbed on top of her. She described. The woman said she fought back, but that's when the man began choking her. She said she managed to kick him, get to the back seat, then run for help. Martell was identified as the suspect in the case and charged with attempted sexual assault in December 2023. Other attacks, according to prosecutors, DNA evidence now ties Martell to two sexual assault investigations from May 2023. In those cases, Martell reportedly worked as a Uber driver, and the victims were unsuspecting customers. As a Uber driver, this is someone they thought they had reason to trust, said Harris County Assistant District Attorney Barbara Phillips. For someone who is in that vulnerable, trusted position to be taken advantage of, it's terrifying. Uber deleted Martell from its platform as soon as it heard about the allegations and they contacted police. Prosecutors believe there could be more victims. We're always hopeful that if someone has been a victim, whether it's a sexual assault or any other crime, please reach out to our local police department and the sheriff's office at Phillips. Reach out and get help. Let us know what's going on and let us be able to continue the investigation. Man, I so hope that my friends they would have done this for her. As a Tuesday, Martell remains in jail if he bonds out. Part of his bond conditions include no contact with the victims. He's also not allowed to work for a ride sharing service. Uber passenger argues with the driver, assaults him before walking into traffic and getting hit. The Uber driver told police that 21-year-old woman was intoxicated and started arguing with him. Said the woman slapped him from behind while he was driving, so he pulled over and told the woman to get out of the car. The woman broke the windshield and door handle of the Uber vehicle, cursed at him, and then walked into the lane of traffic when the driver called 911, according to police. The woman was hit by a passing vehicle. The driver of the vehicle stopped to render aid and was not intoxicated or impaired. The woman was transported to a hospital in critical condition. Police said she will be charged with assault and criminal mischief from the attack against the Uber driver and vehicle. Uber driver claims she fought for her life after alleged attack by a passenger in Miami. That's another with the passengers, goes on and on. Women punches, scratches Uber driver during sexual assault in St. Petersburg, Florida. Way to go. A woman who was allegedly touched inappropriately by a Uber driver earlier this month fought off the attack by punching and scratching the driver. According to an affidavit, Jose Antonio Canales Sanchez picked up the woman on November the 1st in St. Petersburg. The woman told police she remembers Sanchez repeatedly making comments to her about her appearance, according to the affidavit. She said he parked his car, got back into the car through the back seat where she was sitting. Sanchez allegedly got out of the car after inappropriately touching her and unbuttoned his pants, according to the affidavit. The woman then punched Sanchez in the face multiple times and scratched him, according to the document. Sanchez reportedly got out of the car and ran to a nearby house. The woman showed police screenshots of the Uber driver from her phone that had the display name Jose and a picture of his face as well as a receipt for the trip. According to officials, police said Chevrolet Suburban that was listed on the Uber receipt was registered to Sanchez, and a photo of him and the screenshots resembled what was in the driver and vehicle information database, according to the affidavit. During a recorded interview with police, Sanchez said he remembered the trip but denied having any physical contact with the woman. However, detectives noticed scratches on his arms and then found more on his back, matching what the woman told detectives happened, according to the affidavit. Sanchez is charged with sexual battery and false imprisonment. The Uber passenger who attacked the Nashville driver ID'd as Franklin Realtor So a dash camera video obtained by WSMV4 shows an Uber driver being attacked by an irate passenger. They're learning more about the man behind the assault. Stephen Wade Shalabu, 57, is a local Franklin real estate agent and builder. He's charged with felony aggravated assault. Shalabu, also known as Stephen Shalabu, according to arrest records, is seen taking the Uber driver's phone and nearly putting him in a headlock. Police said Shalabu later knocked Reginald Pierre unconscious off camera. Google results a Zillow profile and deleted LinkedIn profile tie Shalabu to multiple real estate firms, including Bob Parks Realty and Franklin, among other firms, including builders, Stonebridge Homes. Wow. So it said he has since been scrubbed from the firm's websites. Bob Parks Realty confirmed he no longer works there. He also had a prior criminal history. He was charged with aggravated assault by strangulation in 21, but the case was dismissed at the request of the state on August 11, 2021. His Zillow profile shows he sold homes as recently as 2022. Wow. He Pierre said the most recent assault happened in May after Chalabat got upset. Pierre allowed a female passenger with him to get out of the Uber. Pierre, who immigrated from Haiti more than 30 years ago, told WSMV4 he still doesn't feel 100% after the attack and suffers from a sore neck and back. An injury to his hand during the attack kept him off the road for 3 weeks. The doctor told me you're lucky nothing is broken, but you're going to be sore for a while, and she was right. Once I got home, my body couldn't move and I felt heavy. WSMV4 called Shalabu seeking comment on his latest arrest. He responded, no comment. He also said he wouldn't comment on whether he was still a realtor. He's one more with the Lyft drivers. Okay, that's what you're getting. As we reflect on the unsettling incidents detailed, the 8 most disturbing rideshare assaults of 2023, it's crucial to remember that the aftermath of such experiences extends beyond the immediate shock and trauma. For those who have suffered from ride-sharing assaults, finding a path to recovery and justice is essential. Legal support and guidance can be a significant step towards healing and holding the responsible parties accountable. If you or someone you know has been injured in a ride-sharing assault, you don't have to navigate the aftermath alone. The J&Y law firm in Los Angeles, California specializes in assisting victims of such incidents. Our experienced team is dedicated to providing compassionate, comprehensive support to help you through this challenging time. We'll see about that, right? It's gonna be in California. Common rideshare and accident injuries, Uber accidents in Los Angeles, common Uber. They got a big, and so I think that about does it for now. I hope that y'all have a great day. God bless each and every one of y'all. And thank you so much. God bless you.